Hey guys, Ken Rayder here for Rayder Sports. How are we doing tonight? So, the Columbus Blue Jackets have defeated the Tampa Bay Lightning 4-3 in Game 1 of the Stanley Cup playoffs. You heard every word in that sentence correctly. Whether or not it comes to it as a shock to you, the Columbus Blue Jackets have knocked off the team who tied the all-time wins record. And if that's not a shock to you, they came back from 3 goals down. Now, in the beginning of the game, everything looked good. The Lightning got a shorthanded goal. Then they got a wrist shot and a slap shot that went in, and it was 3-0. Everything looked good. Tampa Bay looked faster. Tampa Bay looked like the more talented team. Tampa Bay just looked like they were just going to put the pedal to the metal. They were just going to dominate. They were going to pretty much kill the confidence of the Blue Jackets, and it was pretty much, oh, okay, let's pack it up and go to Game 2. I even turned my phone off because I'm like, all right, it's 3-0 after 1. That's all I need to see. Well then, so then I'm working, and all of a sudden my phone goes off. It's 3-1 end of 2. I'm like, okay, I can live with that. Then it's 3-2 in the third. I'm like, okay, I can live with that. It'll probably be 3-2. They'll pull the goalie. We'll win 4-2. Then it's 3-3. Then it's 4-3. And of course at 3-3, I'm turning the damn phone back on. I'm sitting there and I'm watching the game, on the live stream. And I cannot, for the life of me, figure out how a team goes 19 minutes with only making 1 shot. I mean, the Lightning had only 5 shots in the entirety of the third period. And they only ended up having, and they had 4 of those in the last 40 seconds of the game. 4 shots in the last 40 seconds. The whole 19 minutes and 20 seconds of the game, they had 1 shot before that. Before they're like, oh shit, we're down, and we actually have to now start actually trying to play desperately. And a lot of credit here goes to Bob Rovsky, the goaltender for Columbus, who stopped 4 pucks that probably would have went in, robbed Stamkos twice. And so, he, after that nightmare of a first period, he kind of got his legs under him and really started actually making good saves. And all of a sudden, and it's like, how do you do that? How do you just stop? What happened? Like, they disengaged after the first period. And what ended up happening, I think, is they just got complacent. They're like, we're up 3, just like I said. We're up 3-0. I turned the phone off. I wasn't worried about the rest of the game. Steven Stamkos even came out in his post-game interview. He said, and I quote, "We had a 3-0 lead at home. It should have been done and over with. We learned a lesson tonight." And we definitely did. That you can't rest on your laurels. You can't just say, okay, we're up 3-0. This is the bottom team in the playoffs. We're the top. We're the big boys. No. When you tie the all-time wins list, when you are tied as the all-time winningest team in NHL history, you better bet your ass you're getting everybody's best shot for the whole 60 minutes. You can't just become complacent. You can't be, you can't feel entitled that this game's yours just because. You can't just roll out there and think because you have a lightning bolt on your jersey, people are going to be like, all right, we give. It doesn't work like that. Hockey's never worked like that. You got to keep the intensity up until you know for sure that clock hits 0 and your team is winning. I think we learned a lesson. I think we'll come back in game 2 and really just drive it home. We're not going to try. We're probably not going to try to outscore them. We're not going to try to go for the throat early. We're probably going to win somewhere around like a 3-2, have like a very vanilla game, and then we'll come back game 3 in Columbus, take that one. Probably, I think now this series, where I thought maybe it would be 5, now it seems like this is going to go into 6 games. Columbus has been one of those pesky teams. I mean, they've done it to the Penguins, they've done it to the Capitals, where they play everybody hard every game. There's no easy games when you take on the Blue Jackets. I mean, that's just their history. You just got to keep up the intensity and know that sooner or later they're going to choke. But unfortunately, this reminded me of last year's Eastern Conference Finals, where the Lightning went up 3-2. I think in my last video I said they went up 3-1, but it was 3-2. And then they did not score for the rest of the series. Yeah, they went 2 games where they were outscored 7-0 in those last two games against the Capitals, in which the Capitals won the Stanley Cup, much to my chagrin. So anyway, better luck next time for the Bolts. I still think they're much more talented. I think, though, luckily it's a 7-game series and it's not a 1-game series. Well, 1-game knockout elimination style. So I think we'll be fine. I think we're still going to move on. It's just going to be in a 6-game, maybe even 7-game series instead of the 4 or 5 that I was looking at.